In Britain, 2/3 of people speak only one language. Most of us learn a bit of French or Spanish or German in school, but it just doesn't stick with us. There's a lot of reasons that contribute to such poor acquisition. So, why do we struggle with picking up second languages? I spoke to Dr Joanine Nel from the University of Pretoria to answer all my questions. She's an expert in Afrikaans and a doctor of linguistics.
There are two big ideas that one has to take into consideration when you're thinking about difficulties in learning. So the one is purely linguistic. So you're looking at micro-linguistics. So you're looking at the 4 different branches of linguistics. So syntax having to do with sentence structure or combination of words, morphology, how you actually build words, and then phonetics and phonology. So the sounds and how the sounds combine into those words and those sentences. And then semantics, which has to do with meaning. So normally your vocabulary or your lexicon in your mind or your brain. And then pragmatics. So pragmatics has to do with meaning in context or language use in context. The other part, the big overarching part that we have is that we have also non-linguistic or macro-linguistic structures. So there you've got to take into consideration things like affective factors, so how we feel, barriers from a personal point of view that might affect it. If you're a quiet person, that might be a barrier making language learning more difficult because you might not speak in a class, or you might not speak or ask for help, or you in a social situation might not interact as much. You might be just a person who's listening the whole time. So you're working on your listening skills, but you're not working on your production skills. Age is also a factor. Motivation is a factor. Attitude, aptitude. There's a whole list.
Afrikaans is one of the youngest languages in the world. It's a language whose history is one of empire, oppression, and reconciliation. Further back in history, its roots are intertwined with the very tribes that developed the prototype of the English language. This means that it should be relatively easy for Brits to pick it up as a second language, but very few people do. Few people here even speak a second language at all. So, what do English and Afrikaans have in common? Well, first you're going to need to understand the theory of language families. Most of the languages we speak in Europe and Western Asia come from an ancient and extinct ancestor language, which linguists call Proto-Indo-European. Groups who spoke this language split off and gradually, over thousands of years, developed their own variations of the original language. And then, variations formed from those. And this process created a lot of the languages we see today.
From the West Germanic, we then get Afrikaans and English in the end. But Afrikaans and English fall into different sister languages. So West Germanic actually splits into the High Middle German, the Middle Dutch, and then the Anglo-Frisian. And it's from that Anglo-Frisian that English then is created, and it's from the Old Dutch that we then get Middle Dutch, and then we get the Dutch in the Netherlands. And because of these trade routes and coming to South Africa, we then have that Dutch being an official language that is then created into Afrikaans, but it's a simplified version.
So, because of their common DNA, some languages share between them a level of inherent compatibility. English and Afrikaans share many features that make learning one from a base of the other reasonably intuitive.
The sentence structure is actually quite the same. It's always you have a subject, verb, object, sentence structure in English. So, I kick the ball. So in Afrikaans, ek skop die bal.
We can see that we have shared roots. We know what problems we might encounter when trying to learn other languages. So, what's stopping us? I want to delve deep into this question and work out if we can make Britain bilingual using this very similar language to help us on our way. Join me next time where I'll see how much Afrikaans I can learn in just a few months. We'll learn more about how languages work and how we can get better at learning them.